What's up everybody, it's Izzo. Welcome to the lab and welcome to Devlog 7. For today we're finishing up the debugger that we've been developing and implementing for Codename All Night. In the last video we handled list navigation and we added in a command system. If you haven't seen it yet, go check out Devlog 6. We ended successfully, but there were bugs in the way of that. Anyways, for the finale of the Debugger series, we're going to be adding in a way to retrieve the values, strings, and flags of all the file lists, and a way to dump the entire debugger to a file. By dump, I mean we're going to be saving the debugger and anything that was entered into it to a file. That way, if we need to see about some information about the current game that is no longer active, we have a way to do that. First things first, we gotta look at how to start designing such a thing. So, let's get to it. Alright, so next up what we're working on is we're going to work on making all of the file lists dump their properties to the debugger list that we have over here. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. Come on. There we go. Alright, so this list right here, we're going to make all of the debuggers dump their these properties right over here. We're going to have all of those properties dumped to this list, basically in order. So basically going from that list index that we were using, 0 through 6, we're going to be doing that, and each time we dump a new file, we're going to title it with the list that we're dumping. So before we actually get started with that, I did have to come in here and just do a little bit of managing and reworking of our command logic just to get it started. The first big change that I made is instead of us just checking straight up what's inside of the edit box, I'm having it set to an alterable string inside of this debugger collider over here. This command string is what's going to be holding our commands. And the reason why I did it like that is so that way I could come over here and have it check indiscriminately. Basically, one of the problems I was going through while testing and getting everything ready is I had the cases wrong, and I actually had to come through and I had to take off the uppercase off the S off of here. So with that being done, I thought to myself, okay, let's just go ahead and make it so all commands are case insensitive. And the way we're going to do that is we're just going to convert whatever's in that edit box into all lowercase. And then I also added in a different one, command not registered, just in case you do get a typo here. We do need to actually still refresh the edit box and the processing of the commands using that process command flag. So with all that being done, now we're ready to get started with dumping all of the information of the list to the debugger. So all of the pertinent properties that we're looking at for saving the game are now being dumped to the file. Or sorry, being dumped to the list. So let's just go over this one more time. So the way that we're starting this off, of course, is we're starting it off with the dump list command, which I did add into the debugger. And then once that happens, we're starting a loop dump list 7 times. And then so for the first one we're looking at is the tree file object. And here it is. The tree file object, and so for that what we're doing is we're just spitting out everything, and every time it's a new value we're starting it off with the name of that value, so that way we know which of the values we're looking at and it's just not a bunch of random numbers or random words. So this is only the first one. I do have to go through and do the other 6, but this is kind of a long process. I'm not going to make you guys sit here and do it with me. I will see you guys back here in just a second once I have this all ironed out. Alright guys, so here we are back in the test game. I just added in all the cases for the to dump every single file list to the thingy, or to the debugger list, not the thingy. So now we're just gonna go ahead and just go dump lists and see if this works. on here? Okay, so apparently, yes, it did do what it was supposed to, but it just didn't work. Hold on, give me a second, guys. Oh, I know what the problem is. We can actually do this on screen. Maybe. There we go. Okay. The problem is actually very simple. Even though this is now a command, we have to come up here to command not registered, and we have to put in the fact that if it's different than the dump list command too, then go ahead and cancel the command. This is probably getting executed first, which is why we couldn't see anything about the list. So now it should work. I'm hoping it should work, because the other problem would possibly be with the loops. Like I said, it might that loop might be too fast to actually dump all the information accurately to the screen. Hopefully that's not the case though. There we go, and we got it. Ah, look at that formatting too. I like it. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. Of course. Quit. All right, so next up what we're working on is we're about to be dumping all of dumping whatever is inside this list right here, and dumping all of the file list to another file, basically a debugger type file. So I'll see you guys back here in a second to get that started. Alright, so I'm back, and I did have to do a little bit of prep just to set up for how we're going to actually be dumping the files, where we're going to be dumping them to, and that type of thing. So I actually had to go and rip out these two pieces, these two groups of logic from my super secret project, which I will be talking about soon. But so what's going on right here is the first group of events is working with how to create that new folder and that master file. That master file is going to be very important, because we're going to have to read that file first before dumping to a list, because we're going to need to know how many test games, or basically how many test games have been done, so we can properly title the file. So yeah, all we're doing is we're just checking to see if it's a directory or not, and if it isn't, then that directory is created right here. And then from there, then it goes ahead and it creates that master game file, and then down here it fills up that master game file with the number of files, which is a new value on the debugger. It is at 1 right now, just so that way we started off by just making sure that it does have 1, so that way it's not starting at 0, and then after that everything's just turned off. For the loading of the master file, it goes kind of the same way. We wait, we look at if the dump file is just a directory. If it is, then we go ahead and we set that current file right here. That current file is then manipulated here, and then it's saved again, and then everything is turned off. And that's how we'll basically be working with how we're going to basically be getting our files in there, and what we're going to be doing with that. So now all that comes next is we will be sorry guys, brain fart. So what's coming next is we're just gonna basically be ending this off by making sure everything is dumped correctly. Alright guys, so I'm back with the dumping files logic right here, and I'm just going to explain what's going on right now. So basically once that dump gets started, which we're going to trigger in just a second, that new directory created, it's a new flag on the debugger, and it's different from this dump directory created flag. What this is going to do is it's going to create a new dumping directory based on that test file, based on that number of files value that we have inside the debugger. And then once that happens, then new directory is going to be turned on. From there, what we're going to do is we're going to start by saving what's in that list first, and it's going to be called a gen file. And once that list is dumped, that's when every other file list is going to be dumped. And so let me go ahead and tell you guys what the plan is now, because what we're going to need to do is we're going to have to modify our ending game / frame over here. Really the main two things that we're going to have to edit are these ones right here. Instead of having all these update files happen right now, what we really want to happen is we want this dump to be started first. The reason why is because after this update file starts, then the lists are going to start being sanitized. Remember, we want to dump those unsanitized lists first. Okay, so now the only thing that happens when we're pressing that end of game is dump started is being started, or dump started is being toggled on. And then once that dump finished is on, which that down there it actually does get finished, then everything else is going to happen the way that it does, meaning that saving should work still. Alright guys, we're back. We're in the test game now, and I'm gonna be honest, I usually like to test like functions, logic, whatever that I'm like really like kind of nervous about, or I feel like something could go wrong right away. I like to test that stuff off camera and then try to like fix some of that, and then I'll catch you guys up when I come back. But I'm actually so excited to see if this works, and I have faith that it should work first try, quite honestly. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna type in dump list into here, so that way we have something that can actually be dumped to the general file. And now we're just gonna end the game and see what happens. Nothing can be okay. And now quit. Fingers crossed, guys. All right, everything looks like it worked out perfectly. Let's bring up the files, see what's going on there. All right, guys, let's see if it works. So far, first check, dump files is here. Second check, dump one is here. And yep, we have all of the lists, including the gen file. All right. Where's that master game file at, though? Oh god, don't tell me it gets put in here. I do, yeah, no, wait, that's player saves. Okay, I guess we do have something to check. That master game info isn't here. Yeah, alright, give me just a second, guys, and we'll check out what's going on. Alright guys, so I just fixed everything. That little problem that we seen with the master game file, I just fixed it. So let's go ahead and test this one more time to make sure this works. Was it dump list? See, I already forgot what the command is. Alright, got it. Alright, so now let's exit that. Quit. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's check everything out. Dump files is here. That master game file we were looking for is here, and all the rest of the files are there. Alright guys, we did it. Alright guys, we did it. We have a fully functional debugger that's ready to be expanded as we need. There is still that string object that needs to be given some functionality, but it's not important to our saving and loading, which was the reason why we started implementing the debugger in the first place. Now that all suspected and possible errors can be caught and dealt with, the next devlog will be more of a playthrough than an actual project. It's about time we enjoy the fruits of our labor with a little zombie slaying. And worst case, if errors do pop up, that should make things more interesting, maybe a little fixing portion. Anyways, let's hope for the best, am I right? Well, thanks everyone for joining me in the lab today. Leave a like if you enjoyed today's lab project, let me know what you think in the comments, and subscribe to join me in the lab for more experiments and projects. Alright guys, have a good one, see you for the next one.